Welcome to this session, this lesson about using matplotlib in Python. This is quite exciting because it's an opportunity at looking at all the ways in which we can do visualization, or many of the ways in which we can do visualization using a really powerful library within Python. So first of all, what is matplotlib? Well, it's a math processing library that is extracted from Python and it allows us to produce visualizations of many different types of charts and graphs and things like that. And here I have Jay with me, who will be my student and will be learning about matplotlib. So first of all, Jay, question to you. Have you ever used Python?
No.
You never used Python. Okay, so the idea here is if I can teach this aspect of matplotlib from Python to somebody who's never used Python, then for the rest of you students who will have done a lot of Python leading up to matplotlib, will be fine. Are you ready, Jay?
Yes, let's go.
So first of all, just to set the narrative here, we're going to plot different types of graphs and charts. So just to double check, have you come across these 4 types of graphs and charts and things like that?
Yeah, Excel. Yeah.
Lovely. So you're coming from an Excel background.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so hopefully we can also talk about why we use matplotlib to produce these visualizations rather than standard Excel, which most people are familiar with. Okay, so first of all, my lesson is going to be very interactive. There's going to be lots of questions that are asked. So one of the reasons that I do that is because students will always learn better if they participate. You'll remember more if you participate. Even if the question's quite trivial, it's going to keep your engagement and your focus is there.
The first one, the bar chart.
So this first one, so we've got this one, yeah, used for categorical data in rectangular bars.
Yeah. The third one is the pie
Sounds
chart.
good. Okay, so you went, yep, first one, bar chart. Third one, used to represent categories as proportions of the whole. You said pie chart. Okay.
Yeah. And the second one is the scatter graphs.
Yep, used to show relationships between numerical variables, scatter graphs. Yep.
Yeah, and the last one probably will be the first one.
Yep, will be a histogram. Have you ever used histograms before?
I think I might have, but I think I need to see what it looks like and tell you, have I used them before?
Okay, no, that's fair enough.
Generally, like
that's all right.
I probably would just go through, the graph functions and just pick which one I think is the better representative, which one I want to see easier for me presenting. So I actually go through one by one to think about which one is the best scenario for the information I want to present.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that you're thinking about that as well, because we'll be looking at these things. So hopefully these use cases give some context for why we even use these 4 things. Cool. So there we go. You got them all correct. So that's good. There's some base understanding there, which is fantastic. Okay, so we're actually going to get plotting. We're actually going to get using with some of these different types of visualizations. So you're not going to need this, Jay, so no worries. But just for the sake of my students who will be using this, it will be that we'll need a code editor. Most people use Visual Studio Code. We would need to import matplotlib, and I would use Jupyter Notebook just because it works really well with visualizations. It makes things a lot easier, and you'll need to be ready to answer questions. So when we write our Python code, because it's a library, we need to import that library. So we import matplotlib.pyplot and we say as PLT. The as PLT is just using it so that when we refer to it, we don't have to write matplotlib or pyplot every single time we want to use functions and methods that come from that library. That's it there.
Yeah.
So I'm showing you some code. It looks very intimidating. A lot of people say, oh my gosh, coding, I don't want to do coding. But you'll realize very quickly that it's not actually that bad. So Jay, I'm going to ask you this first piece of code, this first block of code here, and this is first cell, as we call it. What type of chart is going to come up? when I actually show.
Because you said it's bar chart, so in the equation. So
that's it. That's it. Honestly, yeah, you're reading it. So I've given an appropriate title, which is good. So you who's never seen this code, you now know that it's going to be a bar chart.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So let me run this. Run the selected cell. Fantastic. So we get a visual come up, and it's a great bar chart. Okay, I'm going to ask you a few more questions because we want to just understand what the different aspects of the code is. So, Jay, having never seen Python before, what does this line here do? What do you think that's responsible for now that you see the visual?
So, as examples, like it's products from A to D. So if it's about a shop, it'll be like clothes, shoes, accessories, that kind of things. Different categories.
Yep.
And I guess the second line is the volume is a volume, right?
Yep. The second line is the volume, or in this case, this axis, the y-axis or the vertical axis.
Yeah. Then obviously, I think the line below that is the color of the bar.
Yep. So there's aspects of the color of the bar. Yep. There's obviously a bit more about it that it does.
Okay.
So it tells us also that it's going to plot specifically a bar chart.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Obviously, then the X bar, X axis, Y axis, X for the products, Y for the sales. Then obviously you said that the title is a bar chart, so probably going to produce the bar chart.
Yep.
Yeah. Then just show.
That's it. So this plt.show, that's so when we run the cell, the visual actually comes up. Question for you then. Let's suppose I wanted to change this, and let's go with the example that you just gave me with clothes. So how would I change it so that the title is clothing store? Where do you think I'd need to change?
So for product A, I will change it to clothes. For B, I can change it to shoes.
Okay, let's go with that. And so you realize that this part is for product A, B, C, so we can change that to something that's actually a bit more meaningful. Absolutely. So the first one you said what? Sorry.
Clothes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
shoes. Shoes.
Yep. Yep.
Accessories.
Okay. And then what's the last one going to be?
I don't know. we can stay with product D. It's fine.
Product D. Fine. We'll keep it as product D. Okay. Yeah. Let's suppose I wanted to change this title then. Something more meaningful. What could we say to give it some context?
JD Sports.
JD. Okay. Right. Let's go.
I was on JD Sports shopping for Black Friday, so you say that's the first thing kicked to my head. Yeah.
Fair enough. Right. Let's go for the very well-known JD Sports. Actually, let's change product D to something a bit more meaningful. Let's go for gift cards. How about that?
Okay.
Okay. And are we happy with the actual vertical and horizontal axes are called? Products and sales?
You can call them product categories.
Product categories. Okay, yeah. So which one do you think we need to change?
Changing product categories in the X label.
Okay, so let's run this first of all. Okay, so first of all, we've updated it so we can see that we've changed it, which is good. So the bit in X labels, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so product categories. Anything else that you want to change?
That's fine with me. Yeah.
Fantastic. Look at that. You're already playing around with matplotlib, library from Python, and this is your first exposure to it. So that's great. And all of a sudden, we've changed it from something that's quite generic to something that's quite useful. Let's suppose you're presenting this, you're learning to present this to somebody, and they're colorblind to sky blue. So it's very hard. Sky blue is not very good against the white background. How can we change the color to something a bit darker? Do you think?
So there's a sky blue that would change to yellow or something like that.
Okay, yellow's an interesting color. But yeah, we can absolutely do that.
Yeah.
great on the eyes, isn't it?
It is quite bright. Yeah.
Maybe something else.
Orange.
Okay, we could
The
go
orange.
orange.
Yeah.
Think about that. So it's good. So you can see that these are some things that you can think of.
Yeah.
We can even change it to something out there, like indigo. And there we go. So that's a bit darker. So yeah, you've played around with the different aspects. So that's So we've got this one here. What do you think this second one? I'm just going to highlight it so that you know. What do you think the second one is going to?
It's a scatter graph.
Scatter graph. Yep.
Yeah.
Which bits specifically tell us that it's going to be a scatter graph, apart from my great titling?
I think it's the number of hours studied against exam scores. So it's like, that one kind of tell you like one against that one, pick up another one. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
If it's like 2 hours, you get 60 scores.
Yeah, so you can see that it's two numerical variables that are being related to, but also the bit that says plt.scatter. So if you remember up here, we had plt.bar.
Yeah.
Here we have plt.scatter. Let's see what it produces for us. So let's run that. Okay, so we're good here.
Yeah.
Can you see that properly?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So we can see here that we've got our scatter graph, and again, we've got the different things that we can put in here. So exam scores, hours studied, choral, as for the color of the little dots as well, we can do all sorts of things there. Yeah, so okay. And then looking at this one here.
So it's a pie chart because it said the pie in the plot.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also think
yeah. Go on. What were you going to say?
Because it's also have the percentage signs all over. I think that can also give away that could be a pie chart, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it. So again, different aspects, different arguments here. We've got the expenses, the labels, the categories as well. And then, we've got different colors. So the different colors of the sections as well that we're allowed to have.
Yep.
Which is always good. And again, you can pick different colors depending on who it is you're presenting to. That is it. Where are we here? Okay, moving on. Let's go on to here. What is this one going to produce?
Okay. It'll be the histogram, that one. Yeah, the last one. Yeah.
That's it, the histogram. And you're saying how you want an opportunity to see what it looks like before you say whether you do or don't know what it is. And yeah, so here, but also very, very good convention to get into is we add something called comments. So anytime we have this little thing here with the little hashtag next to it, that's just a comment in Python, which doesn't actually get registered as code. It's just something that is there for the developer or for the analyst to read through, and so that when you share your code with other people, they'll then be able to understand what each piece of code is doing.
Okay.
So that's what I've got here. Let me plot this one first, actually, though, because this one's the simpler one. Okay. And this is what our histogram here looks like.
Yeah.
So with this one, we've got exam scores, and we've got bins. The bins that we can specify, that refers to the actual bars and the number of bars that we actually get. And we can change that if we want to. So I can make this, let's say 30, and then run this, and then there are more bins now.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
It's like a range thing, right?
That's it. Yes. The ranges and the widths of each of your bar. So I can make it just have 10. But I'll stick to the original 20.
Yeah.
So again, very powerful, very easily changeable, and look how quickly it executed. That was really, really good. Again, the color as one, and then the edge color That's for the actual
Okay. Yeah.
lining around here. So imagine if I was to get rid of this, let's say, and then I were to plot it again. It's the same. It is there, but it looks very hard to kind of look at. Like, where's the delineation or the bars? Not really there. So that's why the edge colors are there, and they're really nice to have. There are more features that we can add up here, and there is documentation that I can just share so that you can add even more customizations to your histograms. But that's how that works there.
Okay.
It's a long lag. Okay. So the idea of customization and flexibility. So you're able to do a lot of different things. You have a lot of control. If you wanted to add, for example, when we talked about the scatter graph, if you wanted to add a band of best fit, we can do so quite easily. With the bar chart, if you wanted to have a bar chart and a scatter graph producing the same thing, we have that level of control over our visualizations. The other thing that's really good is automation. With Python, you can actually write code that produces your visualizations automatically. So let's suppose that you are collecting information about sales as per our bar chart every month, let's say. Rather than somebody have to go through all the data and produce a visualization, you're able to write code in Python using the matplotlib library as well that basically generates that data and generates that visualization for you straight away. So you've done it the one time, and then from then on, it's copy paste, but the code, that actual Python code does it all for you. The other thing is integration with other data analysis tools. So, for example, NumPy, as you saw, we used it for calculating the mean, the median, and used it for calculating the mode as well, or SciPy for the mode. Pandas is a library that allows us to create something called data frames, which kind of look like your tables. They have rows and columns. Another way to produce data, code-based workflow. So if you're incorporating visualizations directly into your code, or if you're having to collaborate with, say, data scientists or even machine learning engineers and things like that, and even data engineers, those visualizations can integrate seamlessly there. You can do very advanced types of plots as well. Heat maps, 3D plots. So looking at integrations, so I mentioned already, so here we've got pandas and some code again that creates a data frame, and then you can use matplotlib to produce visualizations from the data frames. We've got collaborations with other data roles. So as I mentioned, data engineers, where their primary focus is on automation, they're going to be able to take data, that's raw data as CSVs, not something that we looked at today, but you understand. Yeah, you're
most of my
the
data when I imported it is on the form of the CSVs format. Yeah.
That's it. So happy to know that with Python, we're able to work with CSVs, but then you can turn that into data that can then be turned into infographics because it's all within the Python ecosystem. So matplotlib can also be used to turn the raw CSVs into visuals. Great. And then here as well, we've got big data. So with Excel, we have limitations. What is it? When you get to about 200 megabytes, that's when Excel starts to slow down a little bit with producing visualizations. So imagine now if you're looking at data across a 10-year span, that could be maybe 2 gigabytes, 3 gigabytes, even higher. Big data. It's not really going to be very efficient to use Excel. It would take way too long. It might even crash.
Yes.
So yeah, we're able to connect Python to something called Apache Spark, which is a tool that's used for big data, cloud agnostic as well, so it can integrate with many things, but Python can be used. And then when you integrate Python with Apache Spark, you can do a lot of your manipulation, but then you can also import matplotlib into Apache Spark, or PySpark as we call it. Python with Apache Spark, you can produce your visualizations on your really large data there as well. So very useful in that respect. And then also integration with SQL or SQL. So a lot of the times people write what we call queries to extract meaningful data from a database, but that can also be done on from Python. using something called SQL alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
It allows us to write SQL-like statements to extract data, but then we can integrate matplotlib to produce visualizations. So it's all tied in within our ecosystem, and it helps you collaborate with other people within the data realm. So data engineers, data scientists, machine learning engineers as well, even data architects to some extent. Very, very versatile. So in conclusion, the Python ecosystem, which includes matplotlib, of course, it provides a versatile and powerful environment for data analysis and visualization. Also, we saw that it's quite easy to use. So it's very good for professionals to work with diverse data sets and collaborating with different data roles. You even mentioned that before you used to hear Python and you used to think, oh, quite scary, lots of code. But actually you've realized it's not that bad. It's fairly easy to understand. You'll never have to start from scratch as well. A lot of the times you'll have templates for working with these things. So it's okay. And you can make it simple or complex. I showed you more of the simple things because it's supposed to be just a quicker type of session today, but you can also make it very, very complex as we talked about some of the things that you mentioned. Thank you very much for participating.
I think it's really, really good, especially I think that one. I think once the error message occurs, it can kind of highlight to you like which area is wrong.
Yeah.
So that kind of like spot the error for you rather than you spot it yourself. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that one, that's a very, very good one to have, I think. Yeah.
Yes. Error handling is strong.
Yeah. Thank you for the lesson. Yeah, it's really useful.
You're very welcome. I'm glad that you found it useful. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being so engaging. I'm sure that you learned lots just because you were talking lots, so I understood what your understanding of things are along the way.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me just stop recording. Stop recording. Imagine if I hadn't